Hey guys, it's Abandoned, and today I actually want to talk about Symmetra's teleporter because it's a really unique part of her kit and has the potential to be quite powerful, but is really held back by some really nasty bugs and some very clunky design associated with the ability. I won't be going too in depth on the bugs really because they're quite numerous, and also not Muda, or Muda has made a video outlining almost all of them, but the ones you really need to know are that the teleporter will destroy itself when placed near geometry and just explode on the cart, and generally self-destruct for no particular reason, and leave you without an ability cooldown for 12 seconds, which is a bit of a problem. It's a bit like if Tracer's Recall just decided it didn't not work half the time and just leave the Tracer dead because the game's not coded right. But really, the video is not just about the bugs. The bugs will be hopefully fixed eventually, but even if they were, her ability is still very janky. I think a good example to actually start with is that in theory you can actually teleport out of Zarya's Graviton Surge, and you'd think you'd be able to do every time, but it's actually very rare that you are able to escape yourself or even teleport any of your teammates out at all, even if you do it preemptively and know where she's going to grab you. And this is for a variety of reasons, but the first one, and one of the more problematic ones, is that the teleport spawn location is actually not consistent, because they can actually spawn directly in front of you, a few feet in front, actually out of your interact range. Is if you just place it on a flat ground, it will spawn far enough away from you that you actually can't use it without looking up a little bit, which doesn't seem like a huge problem, except that it just makes it really inconsistent to use, and if you're trying to TP out of grab or something, you can't actually reach it, and neither can any of your teammates. The other thing it can do is spawn directly at your feet. This is kind of the backup spawn location, but spawning at your feet is much preferable most of the time, and will actually let you avoid it loading in on the cart or off a cliff or on geometry and exploding on itself most of the time, which you generally want it to do. So that'd be the first change to really hope for, is just have it spawn at your feet consistently. It's already the kind of backup location that works a lot better and is a lot less problematic, and spawning in front of her is more just a leftover, I think, from old Symmetra TP, how it used to work, and really just cripples her for no useful reason. The next problem is actually the interact range, which I sort of mentioned a moment ago, which you can't actually use teleport unless you're sitting basically directly on top of it. And this is another case of making it difficult to use and apply. I actually have in the background footage right now me trying to teleport a Bastion around. Don't mind him dying, but a lot of time you can try and TP the Bastion and it just won't load in the Bastion's range even, or in a graph, even if it spawns below you. Some teammates in the area won't be able to reach it. And it's just a huge problem, and even in normal play for Symmetra, just not being able to reach your TP, especially if you're using an escape ability, is really problematic. Because you get booped in the slightest amount, body blocked in the slightest amount, you just can't use it. And it makes the ability really inconsistent. Ideally, I'd want interact range, probably buffed to like at least 2-ish meters a circle around the TP, not maybe a little bit less, but at least a bigger circle around it, so it's actually viable to use and like not so easily blocked. It makes Symmetra a lot more viable with their teleport use, especially in our like regular comps with the Telebastion and everything, just so you can actually get everything working, and combined with the consistent spawn location, it would make her a lot better hero, just with her kit working consistently. It works the same way every time. You really want that with most heroes. You don't want to roll a dice and just hope your ability works, especially when it's the most important part of your kit by a large margin. Like the Telebastion comp, again, for example, doesn't even really use Sim's DPS, or turrets barely even. She's just a utility bot with the teleporter. And when that ability just doesn't work, what are you even using the hero for? Now the next issue to go off, which also just keeps in line with the grav analogy is her placement time for the TP, or how long it takes to load in after you place it. Now, I'd be a bit wary about reducing this one too much, because if it was put to basically nothing, that could be an absolute nightmare to play against. But as it stands, it takes far too long to load in, making it really ineffective as an offensive tool all the time, and completely worthless as a defensive tool as well for Sim, unless you anticipate somebody coming after you with TP. With many sets of heroes, you'll just die before you can even get it off and run with it, which makes it an awful escapability alongside the 12-second cooldown. It really amplifies her flimsiness in game, and just once again makes her clunky to play. That's her. Now the next thing to go off note is actually kind of breaking away from the grav analogy finally, is actually how far away you can place the teleporter. Because currently it's very short, and there's actually a lot of maps in the game where Symmetra is very close to being able to offensively use her TP for rollouts, for really good spots, but she can't actually reach them just because how far away you can place a teleporter. It's actually shorter than Reaper's E even, and it causes a lot of problems for just trying to get in with it. I think one of the best examples is Hanama at first point. There's a high ground that you can actually TP to, but you have to walk in and just subject yourself to fire to reach it. And it really kind of ruins her. Along with a lot of other maps, there's high ground she'd love to reach, but she'd have to walk across the open and get shot to get anywhere near them. And it just kind of makes her teleporter worthless on those maps where she could actually have some viability. And that's pretty much it for that. And there's two more things to note. One is something Muda recommended, which it's genius. It should be done already. Like, it's perfect. It's changing the teleport and turrets to basically act like a player, like Bob. So that you don't just explode on corners anymore, and whenever something moving gets near them, they just get pushed instead. This would be just really lovely and fix a lot of problems. And once again, I'm going to be putting the link to the video by Muda in the description because it's pretty good. Yeah, and the last thing besides that is the teleporter cooldown time. Currently, the teleporter has 4 seconds of downtime, 8 seconds where it's up, and then 4 where it's just inactive at the end. And I don't really think the 4 should be there. If Symmetra really had permanent uptime, that would be an issue, I think, but it's only got 300 HP on the TP. It's easily broken, and it's only tethering 2 spots for those 8 seconds, so you can't just go anywhere with it. You're stuck in those 2 spots. And if it was reduced down to 8 seconds, that'd actually be very important, because that means you could actually contest Widows properly. Currently, you can't really chase a Widow, because Widow's grapple has a better cooldown time than Sim TP, which is really unfortunate considering Widow's a sniper that can insta-kill across the map, and Symmetra's a slow, fragile, close-range shotgun hero, basically, is how I play her anyways. And, I mean, she's got 200 HP and no mobility. She just kind of gets to die. So yeah, I think it should be just the 4 seconds of downtime should be reduced. Give her an 8-second cooldown on the TP. And that's really it for the video. You got my Twitch in the description. You can gotta remember to show that. Yeah, that's where the background video came from, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and sorry that I can't speak properly.